Hey, this is Passy from Passy's World of ICT, the guy with the white hat. And today we're continuing with our website course, building course, and we're going to do an HTML JavaScript web page slideshow today, which is going to be really good and pretty much finish off the Indian restaurant website that we've been building. So you need to have done the previous lessons, and at the end of the previous lessons, we had our Indian website going on the internet, running in browsers, and we had this one page called Gallery. Well, we're going to change that page. So what it does is it runs a slideshow of pictures instead, and then it'll flick to this picture and then to the next picture and so on. So we'll jump across and show you what the finished product will look like when it runs in a web browser. Okay, so at the end of the lesson, this is what we'll see. We'll have this slideshow running that cycles through some images which we got off the internet and just shows them on the web page. And this looks really nice and really professional. And it'll have an exit slideshow button on it. And when you click that button, what's going to happen is that it goes back to the home page, all right? So when we go to the gallery page, it's now going to go to the slideshow, and there'll be an exit slideshow button where we can go back to the home page, all right? So this is going to kind of finish off our Indian restaurant website. Okay, so it's essentially completed the previous lesson. So you need to have done the Photoshop for website mockups, so you know how to use Photoshop, because we're going to be using Photoshop today. You need to know how to make the HTML pages from the Photoshop mockup, that previous lesson that we've done, and also how to link web pages together. So we're going to be doing everything, things from these three lessons today. So if you have not done these three lessons and you just want to learn how to make a HTML slideshow, that's okay, but you need to know Adobe Photoshop and Dreamweaver and how to edit HTML code. If you already know those things, you can do this lesson. Otherwise, sorry guys, bad news. You need to go back and look at these other lessons and get some of the skills from them. All right, so for this lesson, there are some lesson downloads. So there's step-by-step instructions, which we'll be looking at during the lesson. There's an overview presentation, which teachers could use to show to their students before they start the lesson. There's also a code text docs, this one, the HTML code. And there's a Photoshop start file of the gallery page. So if you haven't done the previous lessons, but you know Photoshop and Dreamweaver already, you could use this gallery page PSD and this home button PSD to get started. Now you will need to find the images for the slideshow. So you need between 5 and 10 landscape, rectangular shaped pictures. So like this home button is like that. And those pictures of things related to restaurant food need to be approximately 800 by 600. They don't need to be exactly that, but if they're around that size and you make sure they're kind of a landscape long ways rectangular picture like this, it should work out okay. Okay, so in the YouTube play bar, there's a tools cog here, all right? And if you click on that in the YouTube player bar, there'll be a thing called playback speed. Click on that and put it at 1.5 or 1.75, and the video will flow a lot better because we're a bit of a slow talker. The other thing is that this is going to be a very long lesson, so you probably need to take breaks. So remember, in the YouTube description, there is a video timeline index so that you can just take a break. So this is a different lesson, but say you'd finished beach photos, you could take a break and then you come back to the video another time or even another day. Just bring up the video and go on to the next one, which would be the tennis photo. So you just click on 3838 and it'll take you straight to that section in the video, okay? So take breaks, it's going to be a long one. Now, as we said, we've already covered those. The lesson downloads, we've spoken about that. Now, lesson overview steps. So the first thing is to make a Photoshop design for this new slideshow page that we're going to have. And then we need to make that exit slideshow button that's going to be at the top of the slideshow and takes us back to the home page. Get the images for the slideshow and put them in a new folder that you set up for your website called Slideshow Images. So you need the previous lesson and all of the web pages so that you can make this folder and put these in here. We're going to make the slideshow page in Dreamweaver CC. So we will have designed it in Photoshop, but then we actually make the actual web page in Dreamweaver like we have been doing in previous lessons. Import and set the page design. Now last time we made the page designs and then inserted them as images. For this one we have to put it in as a background image, so that's going to be slightly different. We're going to preview the slideshow page, make sure that's okay. Put a browser title on, add the exit slideshow button. We'll also make that button, which won't take us long, and make the slideshow web page get centered on the screen. We've done that in previous lessons, that sort of thing. And then we're going to have the CSS and JavaScript code. So remember, we've got all that together for you in a text file in the download. So if you go to the YouTube video description, get the downloads and get that file and that code. And then we'll just do some final adjustments to the slideshow, and then we should be done. But it's probably going to take us about an hour, I think, to do all of this. So make sure you're watching the video on fast speed. And then we need to link our other website pages so they don't go to the gallery page anymore. They go to our new slideshow page that we've made, which is going to replace that gallery page. Now, for the 13 steps, 13, that's unlucky for some people, but it'll be lucky for you because it's going to be great. We'll present them. Yes, we're just going to go through the PDF. So as a PDF of step-by-step instructions, go to the video description. You can download this. And basically we're going to work through this for a while. Then we'll show you a live demo of actually doing the steps. Then we'll work through a bit more, do a bit of a live demo. So we're basically going to do what students would do in class if they were just using these written instructions, and just follow through them and make the slideshow. So let's get started with that. You'll need to get the instructions and have them open if you're doing this yourselves, or follow along with the video. Okay, so this is the step-by-step instructions. We've been through how we're making that slideshow and we've shown you the slideshow running. Now we're going to make the Photoshop design for the slideshow page. So we're going to take that gallery page that we've made in previous lessons, the mock-up PSD Photoshop file, and we're going to change that. We're going to take all of the pictures off and all of the buttons off, and we're going to put a little Instagram kind of message at the bottom here. And then in this gap that we've now got, we're going to also put some text writing and tell them to click the exit slideshow button when they're ready to leave and go back to the home page. All right, so we're going to sort of get this page set up, and that's going to be the background page that our slideshow can run on top of. So let's get on to that first. All right, so step one is to take this particular page that we had previously, and in Photoshop, open it up, or just get the one from the downloads. Now we should be able to click on this and press the delete key on our keyboard and take that picture off and take that picture off. And then we have to take all of the buttons off. Okay, so we'll do that. So I'm just clicking on them and pressing the delete button. Now we need some writing. All right, so the writing at the bottom says, "For more images, follow us on Instagram." Okay, so I'm just going to copy that writing out of the PDF. I'm going to go to Photoshop, get onto the text tool, okay, for horizontal typing. I'm going to use brush script. The color I'm going to use is kind of a white color. So I'm going to set that up the top here in Photoshop. 60 point, I'm not sure about. Let's try 48 point and see how that goes. We'll go down into this black area now while we're on that letter T tool, and we'll click in there, and it's put in the lorem ipsum default text. So we're going to backspace over that with our backspace key on the keyboard. Then we're going to Control and V to paste in the writing from the instructions. Then we'll color it in. We can probably make it a bit bigger. Let's try 60. 60 is a bit big. So let's just type in the box up here directly and make it say 50. All right, 50 is okay. So we'll click off that. Remember, you can go to your home base arrow tool up the top left-hand corner and just move that so it's centered. Now, we also had a couple of little Instagram logo things here as well. which I haven't really thought about, but we'll go to Google Images and see if we can get those. Google Images. Okay, so Instagram logo. So let's go to that. And what looks good? This one here looks all right. So we'll start up the snipping tool, a pair of scissors. So we've been through how to do this in previous lessons. And we'll just snip that one out. And we'll go edit copy. And then we'll go to Photoshop and we'll actually go File and New. And it'll know how big the clipboard is. So we just leave it like that. And we want the background here to be transparent. And we'll just say create. And then we can go edit paste. And it should paste in our snip of that into here. Now we're going to just get the magic wand tool here. So if you push down on that button, yours might be on the object selection tool like that. You need to push down here and get on the magic wand. We're just going to magic wand select that white and delete it. Magic wand that and select and delete. And then do a Control D. And we're just going to make sure there's nothing else around the edges. That looks good. So let's file, save as, save on our computer. And let's just call that Insta. And we'll make it a PNG file and save it. Okay, then back in Photoshop, if we click back on this tab where our page was, we'll go File, Place Embedded is how you bring an image into Photoshop. Now, if you've watched our previous lessons, hopefully this will be clear. We'll get our Insta thing and place it in there. You can drag these little things to resize it. Then get on your move arrow tool and we can just put that in there. And see how it looks nice without that white around the edge. You could have just snipped it and put it straight in. And then if you hold down the Alt key while you move it, it'll move a copy of it. So you can have a copy over there and we'll get that done like that. All right, so that's looking good. Now we needed some text tool again, and we needed to add some more writing in here. Okay, now the writing you need to add from the PDF instructions, if we go back to them, the writing was, here are some, this stuff, here are some slideshow images, click the screen exit button. So let's go into Photoshop. Let's replace this lorem ipsum and just go edit, paste, and paste that in. All right, now that's going a long way over. So we'll bring it back a bit because the idea is that's going to be here and the slideshow is going to be running in there, and we'll get on our text tool and we'll just go in there and go to put the cursor in front of as, then hold down Shift and press Enter to put that on the next line. Then we'll just hold down Shift and press Enter to make a blank line. Click the top of screen exit button to end. Oh, I might leave that little writing actually, that looks better. End the slideshow and return to our home page. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to click on the move arrow up the top and I'm just going to put that across there. And I think that's all we need on our page. That page is now ready and the slideshow, remember, is going to be over on this side. I'll just move that up and over a little bit. So that should be good to go. So let's do a file save as here and save it on our computer. Now we'll save a Photoshop version just so that we have it to come back to if we want to make any changes. So first off, we're just going to call it slideshow page.psd. So we're saving a Photoshop version of the file and we're saving it. And then we're going to need to save a JPEG version. So you go File, Save a Copy. So save a copy for JPEG. Remember that from previous lessons. Go to JPEG And this is going to be our slideshow page JPEG. All right, and we're going to save that there, and we can probably get away with making it size 12 maximum and say okay. All right, so that's got that done, and that looks something like that. So make the Photoshop design, copy the JPEG file into the images folder of your website. All right, so previously we had a website set up in a previous lesson. So I've got mine set up in L13 website practice. Yes, it's in there. And I've got a page images folder. So this is from the previous lesson. You see I've got that. Now I need to put, I've already got a gallery slideshow page in there from having done this lesson. But basically you just copy the page you've done into here, okay? So that you've got that page image in the images folder of your website that you did in the previous lesson. So next we're going to make the exit slideshow button. All right, so in the download, you can get this home button, a blank home button. So in Photoshop, I'm just going to close that one because it's finished. We don't need our Insta one anymore. But yeah, here's from the downloads, the homepage button. Now the first thing we need to do is make it a bit bigger because it needs to say exit slideshow. So we're going to have to increase its size. So we need to do image and canvas size. Change it from inches into pixels, and 350 and 94 here are the magic numbers to use. So this is all in the step-by-step instructions, so you will need those. So 350 and 94. So we go image, then we go canvas size, which is the background, and then we're going to change it to pixels, okay, and we're leaving it at 94, but we're making this, I think it was 350. All right, so 350 pixels, 94 pixels for the height. We say okay, and that's made it a bit longer. Then we can go onto our actual button, click on it with the move tool and move the background back here and move the writing back there. And then we're going to need to make that button longer. All right, so we've moved that back. Now you need to click onto your rounded rectangle, this part here, and if we click onto that, I think you'll have to do edit and free transform to get into that. Edit free transform, and then you can stretch it wider like that, and then go back to your home tool. So you have to go edit and free transform to actually get into the resizing tool. So I'm just wondering, was that in the PDF instructions? Oh yes, it does say here, do edit free transform, okay? So you need to do that. Now we need to just change the writing so it says exit slideshow. So to do that, you get on the letter T tool over here, the T tool in Photoshop. Just click where the E is, and we can go back and delete all that out. And we need it to say exit in big letters, exit slideshow. All right, now I'm not seeing my writing. What I need to do is stretch that across, and then I'm still not seeing it. Okay, what is going on there? Exit slideshow. Okay, then it disappears. So it must just be a little bit too long. And I've probably got it twice now. No, I haven't. Okay, it looks like I've only got it once. Okay, so exit slideshow's in there now. I did have to stretch the button a little bit bigger just to get it to fit, but that's looking pretty good. That's our exit slideshow button. So I need to file save as that, save on your computer. Now we need it as a PNG, but when you do save as, remember, with the new release of Photoshop, it's a pain. PNG is not there. Okay, so I'll just cancel that. You've got to go File, Save a Copy. Okay, I don't know how this is supposed to make things better, but Adobe made that change. And then we need to find our PNG file, and we're going to have this as our, I'm just going to call it exit slide show button. I don't know if I've spelled that right, but it'll do. Exit slideshow button, save that as a PNG, just say okay on that. And so that is step 2 done. And I think now we're finished with Photoshop. Now you'll need to get images from the internet, and there's a link here to watch about a video about how you use the snipping tool. But just to show you really quickly, if we go back to where we were in Google Images and we put in Indian chef. Okay, let's just try that. And go to images. Okay, now remember, this is a great picture, but it's an up and down picture. We want pictures going across. So let's say we like the look of that picture. We could go like that, and then we could get our snipping tool and just go new, and then we could draw around what we want. Oh, it's got some caption on it. But anyway, I want to make it kind of rectangular like this. So it's about 800 by 600 sort of size, which is kind of a rectangle like that. And then I'd save this one. And I need to have a new, folder on my website too. So where I've got my website here, I need to make a new folder. I've already made it called Slideshow Images, but you can just click new folder and make one called Slideshow Images. So you've got that new folder. I'm just going to click in that. Now see, I've already got ones here, but I'll call this Chef 2, and maybe we'll put that one in while we're doing it, while we're doing the lesson. So chef2.jpg. So I've saved that one in there, and you need to get other pictures and do the same thing. Snip them out and save them as JPEGs. And so that's what we're doing in this step, step 3. So you need to place them in a folder, which is part of your website. Okay, now we're ready to go into Dreamweaver CC. All right, so if you want to take a break now, maybe take a break. Use the timeline index to come back to the video at this step. It's step 4, okay, because we have been going for 25 minutes. So take a break now if you need to, and then you can just use the timeline index to come back at step 4, where we're going to actually do the Dreamweaver work. So I finished with Photoshop, and we're doing Dreamweaver now for the rest of the lesson. Okay, now we're in Dreamweaver, and if your old website isn't coming up, remember you have to go Site and Manage Sites, and then that was my L12 Link Pages Restaurant one. So that was from the previous lesson. So you need to just select on that and say done. I've copied all of that to this one, Site Manage Site. I've got this other one here. That one I've got my folder with slideshow images, and if we look, there's the award. There's chef number 2, which we just saved before. And these pictures we can use for the slideshow, all right? So they're in slideshow images, which is a folder just on as part of that website, just made in normal Windows and added into the same main folder website. Our page images are here from the previous lesson. Plus we've got our gallery slideshow page we made. Okay, so we've got this one as well. And that's opened it up in Photoshop, actually. Dreamweaver and Photoshop are linked together. Hey, that's pretty good. And now if I got my button in there, I've got my exit slideshow button. Yes, I've got that in there as well. All right, so I've got that, and I've got the page design I made. So that's all looking okay. Now, we're going to have to do a file new HTML, choose 4.0 transitional like we've done in previous lessons. Make sure the title's slideshow, and then hit the create button. So we're making another brand new page for our website. So let's close that one off. So I'm going to go file new, and I need, the title is, this is going to be called Slideshow. Okay, now we're not using HTML5, we're using 4.01 transitional, and we're going to create that. All right, now straight away you do file save as. Now I already have one called Slideshow, so I'm going to call this, the lesson slideshow page, all right, and save that. Okay, so we've got ourselves a blank page. Now previously we were doing insert image and we'd find the image for our page, for this one here, and put it in, but we're not doing it that way this time. We're doing it a different way, and that's because we're going to have the slideshow running on top of the page, all right? So we've got that and we've saved it. So we need to import and set the page background. So we're actually going File, Page Properties, and setting the background image, and make sure it has no repeat on it, all right? So it's actually something different in Dreamweaver than usual. We're going File, and we're going Page Properties, and we're gonna have a background image. So you click this Browse button here on File, Page Properties to browse for it. Now we've saved it into Page Images, and it's this one here, Gallery Slideshow, and so we're going to say OK. Now we don't want it tiling the page everywhere, so we need a no repeat. So in this drop down arrow, make sure you pick no repeat and say OK, and that's going to put it in as the background. Now we could even at this stage just right click and open in browser. Let's just check out how that's looking in Google Chrome. Okay, remember you need to use your Control- to shrink it down. But that is looking okay, except that it's not centered. It's all pushed over to the left-hand side of the page. But that's looking pretty good, so we're pretty right with that, okay? File, save, preview it in a web browser. We just did that. That's all good. Step 7, put a browser title onto our page. Now, do we need to do that? Let's just try preview that again in Google Chrome and have a look. Now, see, ours has slideshow up there. It doesn't have untitled document, so we're okay. Now, what could happen though, if you're going to split view, yours might have title and it might say untitled. If you forgot to type in that slideshow when you're setting up the new page, you forgot to put in the word slideshow for the title. If you didn't, it's saying untitled, you just edit in slideshow there for the name. This one that's in the title HTML here, between these two things called tags or these borders or boundaries, that's what comes out when you run it in your browser. So that is why the word slideshow comes out up here, okay? It's because you've set it up in the HTML code. We'll just go back to design view on that and see how we're going. So you can fix that mistake if you need to. So we're up to step 8, add the exit slideshow button. All right, so let's go on to our page here in Dreamweaver. Now, if we click or look where our cursor is, it's put a little thing over the top. See, it's flashing light blue there right in the corner, and that's going to be no good. We don't want to put our exit slideshow button up there. So we're actually going to have to kind of move down with the cursor into this area because we want it around this part of the page here, and then later on we'll get it centered. So to do that is fairly easy, and all you have to do is press the enter key on your keyboard several times, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by the looks of it, to get it down here. So it's right down here in this area of the page. So all we're doing in Dreamweaver is flashing right up the top left-hand corner at the moment. We're just going, pressing the enter key on our keyboard. We're just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that. And then it's in a good position for us to insert the thing. Now, if you want to see what's happened in the code, remember in Dreamweaver, you can go into split view. And what's happened is every time you press enter, it puts an NBSP. It's called a non-breaking space in HTML. So it's just making blank lines, which are called NBSP for them. And it's made a few of those in Dreamweaver. So we come down from the top and we're going to be here. Right, now while we're at that location, step 8, add the exit slideshow button. So while we've got our cursor there, we go insert image and we add in that exit slideshow image. So let's give that a go. Insert image. Okay, now remember your website, you should have a page images folder from the last lesson. And we made that exit slideshow button and saved it into there. So we can just grab that and say, okay. And that's going to put it on our screen. And we can see here now in the HTML code where it is. So that's all looking good. And remember, you can grab that line and move it around like we did in previous lessons. What else do we do next? Oh, we're going all right here. We're up to step 9 now. Properties, window properties, and drag this properties panel down. Yes, we need to link that exit slideshow button up to our home page. So it's going to go back to the home page, all right? So we did this in previous lessons. We did linking. And so in Dreamweaver, while we're clicked on that button, we're going to go back into design view. Up the top here, click design to get in design view. And we're going to go window properties to bring out the properties panel for this. And then remember, there was that little down arrow triangle in the corner if it isn't all showing up. But you need to click that. So we've got these things, the hotspot makers. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our rectangle hotspot and we're going to draw around this button like this. And then for the link that it's going to link to, we're just going to make it link back and go back to the home page. Yours might be showing Google Chrome symbols here. Ours is just set up for Microsoft Edge as our default thing, so we get the Edge symbol, but don't worry about that. And now we've got it linking to the home page, so let's try that out. If we go right click and open in browser and Google Chrome, save the changes, yes. See, it's opened up here, the page, and if we click exit slideshow, see, it goes back to the home page. So that is all working absolutely beautifully. So we've got that button now linked up so it can go back to the home page. We can close that properties panel off and we need to get back to the instructions. Okay, so we've linked that up to our home page. We've done that. Now we need to make the page centered. Now this is a little bit different to last time. Where we've put that background image, above where we've got that code for the background image, we need to put these lines of code. So I'm just going to take the first line of code there and go Control-C to copy it from the PDF. I'm going into Dreamweaver. I'm splitting my view. I'm finding out where this slideshow button is. And going up from that, because we need to look at the background image, okay? So in the background image, we need to go to this point in the code and press enter. And then we need to Control-V to have that put in there. Then we need to use the space bar to go across to here, because we've got another line of code to put in there. So this needs to be done carefully, all right? So you can see that's how it's supposed to look. So now we need this text align center in case anyone's using a really old browser. So we can just highlight that with our mouse and press Control, hold down CTRL and press C, Control-C to copy. Go to Dreamweaver and hold down CTRL and go V to paste in there. So that's got that. And then underneath here where it's got background repeat, no repeat, we need to press enter on that. And we need to add in this code that says background position center top. All right, so Control-C that and Control-V that into Dreamweaver. And something looks like it isn't quite working right here correctly, because this has gone all gray and it shouldn't be all gray. Now that should not be all gray, because somehow when I copied that, there's a / on the end of this line, and it hasn't copied that / I don't know why, but when we look in Dreamweaver, this / here to end the comment isn't typed in. So the copy and paste didn't work 100% then, but that's okay. And they're all now the right color, because if we compare with what the code should look like, this here, right? We only have gray on the comments, and then these should be in colors because these need to be active doing things, and they should all line up like that, and they should be under body, and then we close our curly brackets here. So let's have a careful look at our Dreamweaver. It's great. Line 13 closes the curly brackets. They're all lining up. They're in color, and only these are in gray. So let's just go for it here and right click, open in Google Chrome, save the changes, yes. And there it is, it's all centered, and also centers this button for us, which is very handy. And we can exit Slideshow and get back to our home page. So that is all working beautifully, and that step is done. All right, so we've made it all centered. So we're on to the main step now here of adding that Slideshow CSS and JavaScript code, which is in the text file in the downloads. And there's a certain place where we have to copy it. Just above the body and HTML ending tags, press the Enter key a couple of times to make space. So these two guys, body and HTML, have to stay right down the bottom of the Dreamweaver code. So you've got to be very careful about where you're putting this. So we're going down the bottom, and we're just pressing Enter a couple of times and backspacing to get in column 1, because we want these two guys to come last, and we're going to put some stuff in this gap, and we're going to put the code for the Slideshow in there. All right, so if we look at the instructions, following it very carefully, those two guys are staying at the bottom, and in here's where we're going to put the code. Now you need to open up the text file from the downloads, and we have to copy all of that into our Dreamweaver. All right, now this code here, I didn't write this totally, just sat down at the computer and said, oh, I'll write some code for a Slideshow, right? I Googled around and looked at quite a few different things. W3 Schools had some good stuff, as well as some other sites, but I'll give a shout out to W3 Schools because they're a great site if you want to learn more about HTML. We're sort of only taking our course about this far, but if you really want to get into it and learn about CSS, JavaScript, HTML, W3 Schools has some great courses and things you can do there. But anyway, that's a shout out to them. And let's get that code and let's get on with things here. Okay, so in the downloads, you should get this text file. Now what we have to do is we have to copy everything. So it's quite long, this. So we're going right down to the very bottom and making sure we get everything. And we're doing edit copy, or you can do Control C. And then we're going to Dreamweaver and we're doing edit and we're doing paste. Okay, and that's pasted all the code in. You can see, oh, there's some Slideshow pictures in there, and it's got the actual captions that are going underneath the slides and all those sort of things. But we're going to edit this in the code. So we're going to go into code view because it's a bit unwieldy to try and edit all that. So we're going to go into code view and show you what's going on here. So we've got this Slideshow container, and that kind of builds the box that the whole Slideshow runs in. All of these things here do different things, and it tells you what they're doing. It makes the slides fade in and out as they change over. And then we've got all of these div classes here. And this is where you put in the name of the slide you want to come up. And our first one here, if you hold your mouse over it, even shows you a picture. And you see it's not exactly 800 by 600, but it is that sort of rectangle shape we need. So we're having that there. So for the source, we've had to put our folder name, Slideshow Images. Okay, over on the right-hand side here, we called it Slideshow Images, right? Now, if you just called yours Slide Images in here, you would have to have slide images for this word, not slideshow images. So it has to match up with the name of your folder that you've made to put all of your pictures in that you got off the internet. Okay, the next thing is an alt thing. That's just a description of what that picture is. In case it doesn't come up in the web browser if something's wrong, at least this message will come up so you know which picture it is that's not working. All right, so we've just decided to call it guy making food, all right? The width, you just leave it 100%, height at 600, and the text, it goes underneath the slide. Now, after you put the name of the folder, you have to put the name of the picture, all right? So the picture we wanted there was making food. Now, I'm just going to change this because remember how we saved that picture called Chef 2? Okay, I might start ours off with Chef 2 and see how that goes, all right? So this should come up as our first slide now. So I'm going to put that in for the name, all right? So, and we'll call this is the sort of smiling chef, isn't it? Happy smiling chef. All right, so these boxes, this code here, this div class and this div, that's how you make more pictures. Now, if we still wanted to have that other picture of the guy cooking first, what you do is you just can copy and paste these, all right? And we've got a few copied and pasted in below. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take all of this bit here with the comments as well. So I'm going to have that, and I'm going to just press enter, go backspace, so I'm right in column 1 here, and backspace, I'm going to go Control V. So this is Chef 2. So this one here, I'm going to go back to, what was it called? If I look on the right hand side there, it was called Making Food, I think. Making, oh, it even helps you out finding the picture for you. That's pretty good. That's really good, actually. That must be a new thing they've put in. So we've got slideshow images, it's the folder, and making food's the picture. So we're going to have this one first. So we're going to have cooking chef. And you can kind of put in as many as you like. And we're just going to have that like that. So it should show the cooking chef making food. And if I hold my mouse there, then it should show the smiling chef. And then I've just copied and pasted just this little section of code here. You just copy and paste it again. So that you've got this web slide fade stuff and all of that. Now we even got a website fade in that. Div class web slide fade. Now that should be all right, I think. All right, so the next picture after the smiling guy will be the waitress because we set up for that one. Then you just copy and paste, you know, one of these slabs, just copy and paste it, re-edit it. This one's Indian dishes 1. Okay, dishes of food on the table, just put that description in, leave 100% and 600 as they are. So you can copy and paste in as many as you need to for the private function room. Now, I don't think I've got the kitchen in there either, so let's go for it here. These little arrows too, kind of close them up and open them up. So let's take all of this and just show you how easy it is to get extra slides in here. Let's backspace to get there. So paste that in. Now this one here, I don't think we've got the picture of the kitchen in the slideshow yet. So yeah, so that's not in there. So we got this one kitchen. And if I click on that picture, it actually finishes filling it in for me. So that's pretty good. People in kitchen. All right, we should have plenty of slides now for our slideshow, so that's all good. This is a JavaScript code which actually runs the slideshow. And see how this name here is called web slide. It's very important that that name there in the JavaScript, that variable name, matches what we've got here, okay? So that's an important thing, that those match. If you make those names different, the thing won't work, all right? And that's the end of it. And we've still got our good old body HTML guys at the bottom where we needed them. And this should, fingers crossed, work. I'll just check in the instructions, because I think that's all we have to do. We just have to put the code in, tinker around with the pictures, edit in the pictures we want to use, which we've done, and make those modifications carefully. Just keep copy and pasting that web slide fade stuff for as many as you want. Now, test and adjust the slideshow. All right, here we go. Let's try this out. So if we right click on this, open in browser, fingers crossed it's going to work. Google Chrome, save the changes, yes. Okay, there's our guy cooking. There's our happy smiling chef. Now, there's a few problems. Things aren't quite lining up too well. The slideshow is going right down into here at the bottom, and I think that's because I may have put the exit slideshow down too low. I think we need to get that moved up a bit. Take out one of those NBSP blank lines out of there. And we've also got the problem where it's hanging off the edge of the page as well. We need to move it across to the right. But other than that, it's cycling through the photos we set up, and it's working really nice. So we just need to do a little bit of fixing up here. So see these breaking spaces? I think we've got one too many of those. So let's just carefully backspace over them and take one of them out, and we'll just try it out again and see how that looks. Okay, that's better now. That's sitting up above here. Now, see these little captions? International expert chefs and so on. I don't think we changed the captions on those new ones we added in private function room. Well, yeah, you could have a private function in the kitchen, but that's not a private function room. So what's causing that to be wrong? Let's have a look. We added that one at the end. People in kitchen, but we forgot to fix up the caption. So this little text thing is, let's just call it working hard in the kitchen. All right, and our smiling chef didn't have the right caption on him either. So let's find him. He was here, this guy. It says authentic cuisine. So he's sort of with some food. So fresh produce. Fresh, let's call it organic even. Fresh organic produce. All right, so let's try that out. So there, this is just the fine tuning just to make it really nice. Because we're trying to do a nice job here. And we're getting up towards the 1 hour mark. Fresh organic produce. Okay, that's looking good. Everything's looking good, except what happens. Rich, comforting curries, international chefs. Now, award-winning performance goes a little bit big and jumps off the bottom of the page. And that's something we'll need to fix up. All right, the other ones are all okay. See, the bottom line stays here. But when we get to that one, whoop, it's jumped down a bit, all right? So if you're a perfectionist, you can fix that up. And we're perfectionists. So Fire Chef, it wasn't at him, it was this one, award-winning performance. So it's somewhere in here. See how we've got the height at 600 pixels? We can change that slightly. So we've got to fix that up. That's just margin left. Setting it at about 250 instead of 100. And then we need to fix up, where's that guy? Oh yeah, see how it's 600? If we just change that to 580, okay? So we've got a couple of things to fix. All right, so hopefully if we put this one at 580, okay, that should fix up that receiving the award one so it doesn't jump off the page too much. Now, the problem with it not being pushed over far enough comes in here. See how we've got slideshow container, the left margin is 100 pixels in. We need to change that. I'm pretty sure it's that we changed to 250. not 2500, 250, and that should move it further across. So let's, and this is all in the step-by-step instructions if I'm going too fast for you here. Oh, there we go, that's moved across nicely. Okay, because that kind of lines up with the edge of the Indian flag, that's good. And all our slides, see, that isn't jumping down now, that's good. So I think everything's perfect. Authentic cuisine, fresh organic produce. All right, so very nice. We've got a finished slideshow and we've fixed it all up. So exit slideshow goes to the home page. The only problem is if you go to something like the About page, I will just go Control- to fit that on. If we go to Gallery, it's still going to the old Gallery page. It's not going to the new slideshow page. And if we go to Gallery, it's still on the old Gallery page. All right, so everything on the home page, it links up to the new slideshow. That's okay. But all of these other pages don't link up to the slideshow by the looks of it. So if we're on this one and the contact page and go to Gallery, we still get the old Gallery. So yes, there's always something a little bit more to do. But this one here, let's go back to Design View. This one here is okay now, so we can close that. All right, so we need to open up our other pages and just fix them up. So here's the home page. And let's have a look at this gallery button, okay? Now, if we go into split view to see the code, so while we're clicked on that gallery button, see here it says to go to Slideshow HTML. All right, that's the name of the page. I'm just going to copy that, Control-C, that slideshow. So that's going to the right page, the new one called Slideshow HTML that we made. But we actually wanted to go to Lesson Slideshow. So let's change that to Lesson Slideshow and get a copy of that. And let's see how that goes when we run the home page. So we'll open in browser, Google Chrome, yes. Okay, so that goes to Lesson Slideshow with the smiling guy. Exit Slideshow goes back. Now we need to do the same edit in all the other pages. So we did all this stuff about hotspots and how you could edit them in the previous lesson. So I'm just going to copy this Lesson Slideshow. And home is done, so let's close that. But we're going to have to do every other page as well. So I'm going to have to go to the About page, and we won't hang around the video doing all of these, but on the About page, click on your gallery, okay, and you'll see it's linking into Gallery HTML. We just need to change that so the href on the end is Lesson Slideshow HTML. Then we just need to test that, so let's open it up in the browser. Check out if it works. So we're on the About page, we click on Gallery, it goes into our slideshow. If we exit, it goes back to the home. Go to About, it's definitely going there, okay, everything's working good. Now we're going to have to do every other page. It won't take too long. We've got to do the booking page, so we just go there. All right, get down the bottom, get on the gallery. We don't want gallery anymore. We want that to be going to the slideshow. We're not actually going to change the name of the button. We're just going to change where it goes to, okay? And we can check that out. Open up in the browser, Google Chrome, yes. Control-, hold down CTRL and go minus just to get it fitting on the screen. And that goes there. So if you go to gallery, that's good. If you go to booking, and then to gallery, you're getting the slideshow. The only one I think we still need to do is contact, because if you're in contact and go to gallery, you get the old gallery. So we just got to fix the contact page. So let's close that one. Let's double click in here to open up the contact one and get on its gallery button and change this to be that lesson slideshow that we just made. Open that up in the browser, Google Chrome, yes. And it goes to the slideshow. So no matter what page you're on, click gallery and you get the slideshow. All right, so that's kind of finishing off steps, just putting the other links in, which we've done here. Okay, now you can do it the other way with the properties panel and all that, but that's long. It's much easier, as you saw, when we just went in the code and just copied and pasted, opened up each of our pages, copied and pasted to make the change, and then test them. That's a lot easier, and that's a great thing about learning how to work in HTML. So congratulations, that's a slideshow done, and it's taken exactly 58 minutes, so we need to wrap this up. So there is a challenge task. If you want to make a more sophisticated or a different type of website slideshow, go to this one. It's a .asp, and there are underscores in its name. But when you go to that, it'll show you how to make this slideshow. This is W3 Schools. It's got a slightly different one here that's like a photo album. So of your holiday to Italy, it looks like Positano or somewhere. It says Cinque Terre. Well, to Cinque Terre, wherever that is. 5 Earth is what that'd be in French, I don't know. But you can click these arrows here and they'll actually go to different pictures in your photo album. And you can also click directly on these images. If you click here, suddenly the big mountains image will load up there. All right, so that's all kind of good. That's a different sort of slideshow you can make. So yeah, challenge task if you want to do some more on slideshows is try and make one of these sort of photo album slideshows where you can flick through the photos backwards and forwards with these little white arrows. You can also directly click on a thumbnail and see the photo as well. All right, so have fun with Adobe Photoshop and Dreamweaver. We hope you enjoyed this lesson. It has been a long one. And what else do we have to say? Give this video a big thumbs up because that is always good to see and good to know that we are actually helping you. And remember, we're putting out video lessons pretty regularly on all things fun in IT, applications, website building, programming, you name it. Passy's world of ICT, it's a whole world of ICT. So subscribe, and we'll see you in the next lesson.